Have you ever seen a photo of the first boxing champions and wondered, why did they fight like that? Arms extended, chin up, guard wide. It almost looks like a caricature. But behind that image lay science, strategy, and survival. It was the 19th century, an improvised ring, thousands watching. Without gloves, every movement could decide not just the fight, but a man's career. What looks awkward today was, at the time, the only way to fight effectively, protect the hands, and endure battles that could last for hours. This is not just the story of a stance, it's the story of the evolution of a sport, from the raw brutality of bare-knuckle boxing to the refined art of modern boxing. This is the story of the bare-knuckle boxing guard. In the late 18th and throughout the 19th century, boxing was very different from what we know today. Known as bare-knuckle boxing, it was regulated by conventions like the Broughton Rules and later the London Prize Ring Rules. There were no timed rounds. A round ended only when a fighter went down. There was no limit on rounds, and fights could last hours, testing endurance, technique, and mental strength. Fighters had to constantly protect their hands, as any miscalculated punch could fracture bones. At the same time, they aimed to injure opponents efficiently, targeting vulnerable areas like the face, temples, and torso. The arena was often improvised in halls, farms, or public squares with spectators observing every movement. The sport was brutal, technical, and strategic, and the fighter's stance was entirely shaped by these conditions. The open stance, extended arms, and tilted torso of early champions was not a whim. It was a strategic necessity. Without gloves, any short punch or hook could break the fist. Long, straight blows allowed attacks without self-injury, keeping the arm and fist aligned to absorb impact. The tilted torso helped balance the body during clinches and falls, common in fights that lasted for hours. The open guard also functioned as a wall. Arms forward deflected blows and protected the hands, while the fighter constantly assessed where to attack and where to defend, depending on the opponent's strength and strategy. It was pure efficiency, every movement calculated to preserve the body, while gradually wearing down the opponent without risking one's own integrity. In bare-knuckle boxing, targets were chosen for efficiency and safety. The face was primary. Temples, eyebrows, and eyelids were fragile, bleeding easily and impairing vision and breathing. The torso was also targeted. Straight punches, called thrusts, slowly drained stamina, without requiring full power, protecting the fighter's hands. Short punches, hooks, and uppercuts were rare. The risk of breaking the hand was too high. Every attack was measured, distance, maximum reach, and choosing targets that caused gradual damage. This strategy made fights a marathon of endurance, precision, and patience, rather than simple exchanges of blows. Every movement kept the body active and ready for the next round, which could last hours. Bare-knuckle fights were extreme tests of endurance. Without timed rounds, a fight could last hours, demanding physical strength, strategy, and mental control. Each received blow not only caused pain, but drained the entire body. The open stance and tilted torso helped withstand impacts and maintain balance during clinches and falls. Breathing deeply between punches, calculating every movement, and constantly reading the opponent was essential for survival. The psychological factor was as important as the physical. A single mistake could result in broken hands, deep cuts, or premature exhaustion. Discipline, patience, and mental intelligence were as valued as brute strength. Bare-knuckle boxing demanded intimate self-knowledge, knowing limits, endurance, and responses under pressure. In 1889, with the application of the Marquess of Queensberry rules to World Championship fights, gloves became mandatory in professional boxing. This simple equipment completely changed the dynamics of fights. Hands were now protected, allowing short, fast, and precise punches, like hooks and uppercuts, previously too risky in bare-knuckle fights. Guards closed, torsos adjusted, and footwork became more agile, allowing strategic advances and retreats. Rounds gained time limits, and the 10-second count established clear rules for knockouts and recovery. Boxing ceased to be solely extreme endurance and physical brutality, becoming a combination of technique, strategy, and intelligence. The change did not eliminate brutality but refined the sport, laying the foundation for modern, the noble art, and allowing boxing to evolve in speed, technique, and spectacle. With hand protection, fighters could explore punches previously prohibited due to the risk of breaking hands. Hooks and uppercuts became central, along with fast combinations and variations in distance. The closed guard protected the chin and torso more efficiently, while footwork enabled agile dodges, strategic approaches, and positioning in the ring. Boxing shifted from being purely a test of physical endurance to a battle of intelligence and technique, where timing, distance, and energy management were as important as punch power. Even today, many bare-knuckle principles influence modern boxing. Distance control, reading opponents, and punch precision show a direct connection between past and present, proving that every stance and punch carries history. Bare-knuckle boxing emphasized endurance, precision, and survival. Punches were long, straight, and strategic. The open guard protected hands and torso, and every movement had to be calculated to last hours of combat. The mentality was, preserve yourself while wearing down the opponent. Modern boxing, with gloves and timed rounds, prioritizes speed, combinations, mobility, and refined technique. Hooks, uppercuts, and quick dodges became central, while the closed guard protects the chin and allows bolder attacks. Despite differences, there is a direct line between the styles. Distance, movement, and strategy from bare-knuckle boxing formed the foundation of modern boxing science. Every early champion contributed to what we see today as technique and art in the ring. Even with gloves and evolved rules, many bare-knuckle principles remain. Reading distance, measuring force, and calculating risk before each punch remain essential. The open stance, once used to protect hands, inspired distance control and defensive techniques. Patience and endurance, cultivated in hours-long fights, taught energy management and mental focus. Every well-calculated punch, every strategic position in modern boxing is a direct legacy of the first champions. They transformed survival into technique, strength into science, and boxing became the sport we know today, a combination of intelligence, endurance, and artistry. Looking at the guard of the first bare-knuckle champions is like looking at the genesis of modern boxing. Every extended arm, tilted torso, and calculated punch carries centuries of learning and adaptation. What seemed awkward or clumsy was, in reality, pure intelligence applied to survival. Without this foundation, modern boxing, fast, technical, and spectacular, might never have existed. Next time you watch a champion in the ring, remember, every movement has roots in fights without gloves, where body, mind, and courage were tested. If you want to keep exploring the secrets and evolution of boxing, like, share, and follow our channel, because the story of the noble art still has much to reveal.